Hi, I'm the Fashionate Traveller, and I thought it was about time I did another DIY. Today I'm going to be DIYing a small cocktail hat, otherwise known as a pillbox hat, and I'm going to be using one of my very favourite materials, which is felt. I'm going to be using today a flat felt. This is a lovely pinky purple colour which matches my hair, but you can get it in many different colours. For example, there's this lovely apple green. Now, a note on felt. You do have to use a certain type of felt, which is either a wool felt or a fur felt. If you use, or try to use, that flimsy acrylic felt that you get in some craft stores and bargain stores, it's not going to work. It doesn't mould, it doesn't have properties of a natural fibre. And so that's why it's important that you use wool or fur felt. There are some other names you might find if you come across millinery supplies such as Malazine, which has got a much longer pile, velour, which is also another lovely fluffy, got a small pile to it, or just wool felt, which has no pile, it's just a very dense, lovely wool, but which enables you to mould it. So make sure it's not acrylic felt. Now, a little word on felt itself, and just a very small rundown on some of the properties. I started off making roving dreads for my hair some years ago when I was much more into fake hair, and that's how I was introduced to working with felt. Now, you start off with wool roving such as this, which, just fibres that you can pull apart. Wool will, under certain conditions, transform into felt. Basically, you need to have pressure, you need to have heat in the form of steam or hot water, and also an alkali such as soap or detergent. Now, if I were to dunk this into hot water, it's a bit saturated in hot soapy water, and then rub it furiously on a mat, maybe even, I would end up with these spiky things you see here, which I've used to decorate this hat, but which started their lives off as roving dreads. This is, of course, a small cocktail hat, and I've just used extra wool features to be a sort of trim. So that's the idea. Next. This is a traditional milliner's hat block for a small cocktail hat shape. If I take the top off here, you can see it's just a lovely round shape with nice curved edges. Sometimes known as a pillbox shape, although pillboxes can also have quite sharp vertical edges, but this is a nice curved one, I guess like a small beret perhaps, but I really like this, so we're going to be using this one for this project. Now, here will be our lovely fuchsia coloured felt that we'll be using for this project, and what we're going to do is place it over the block and mould it, or as milliners say, block it to the shape of the hat block or hat form beneath. We're going to use steam to do this, more on this later, but basically it will take on the shape of the form below and so enable us to make a lovely cocktail hat. We're now in my kitchen because the next thing we're going to do is to slightly dampen the felt. So, starting to run some warm water here. Now, of course, the wool will become damp as we're steaming it, but with the thicker varieties particularly, it can help if it's already a little bit dampened and therefore softened, ready to for the fibres to take on the form of the hat block. So just running the warm water over it, don't get it saturated. So this is what I'm going to be using today. It's not a proper millinery steamer, but it does the job. Obviously, whenever working with steam, be really careful about your hands. You do not want third-degree burns. At this point, we place our dampened felt over the block. Now I guess you could even try just dunking it in hot water and seeing how it works for you. But since I have a steamer, I'm going to use it. So while the felt is malleable because it's just been steamed, we begin to stretch the fibres gently, diagonally, and then vertically and horizontally. So we start getting this movement in all directions so that it starts taking on that curved shape. Now I'm going to steam it a bit more because it's getting cooler. Yep, it's still hot. And pull. Yep, could be hotter perhaps, but there you go, it's doing the job. You basically stretch and stretch. You get more out of your felt this way because it does stretch. And in addition, it is, as you can see, taking on that curved shape. A bit more. And there. And as soon as we can after that, keep pulling. And now we're going to get to the point, see it's curved there, where we're going to be able to bring it underneath the mould to finish off. Now I haven't quite finished working on this one, but once I have done a bit more steaming, so that it really is conforming much more to the shape, what we do then is start to pin all the way around. I did this actually already in a video, but the file's corrupted, so I'm recreating this. Now it looks like it never will go round, but trust me, when you steam it enough or dunk it in hot water enough and stretch and mould as I showed you, it will, as you'll see in the next clip. So I've finished going round it all, pushing as I go, just pinning at intervals. And as I say, you will find that the folds start to come out. Now, the felt for this hat really is only what's around the edge here that matters anyway. All this other bunchy stuff, which is like the little money bag, those little tie entrees you can get, that can all be cut away anyway later, so don't fret about that. You've just got to get it smooth really to that edge, and then let it dry. And just going to cut off the excess now so we don't have too much bunching happening. I mean, I could cut all the way down, but once it's cut you can't uncut it, so careful. So I just cut a little bit off just to get some of the excess, and I need a better pair of scissors. So with my proper fabric scissors now, I'm cutting away the excess. Yes, love how that just cuts through the thickest felt. That is what you want. Just so you don't have too much left over to distract us. Anyway, you get the idea. So the hat is dry now, or the thing that will be a hat, and the wool has shrunk a little bit as it's dried. In fact, the wool fabric seems to have shrunk. I guess the fibres themselves don't shrink, but they come closer together and mat together during the felting process and when drying. So all of those wrinkles are really outside the area we need to be concerned about. So that's going to be fine when we take it off the block, which is the next stop, or the next step even. Well, I think we've covered enough for one day, so I'm declaring this the end of part 1.